Imagine being trapped inside your own home while three trained killers close in on you from every direction. Every light in the house has just been shot out, and you're relying on nothing but a stolen night vision scope to survive. One of them is on the roof with a sniper rifle. Two more are creeping through the dark hallways behind you. You have seconds to decide who dies first, and if you hesitate even once, it's you. Today's story follows a retired hitman forced back into the deadliest fight of his life, hunted by the very agency he spent decades killing for. Alright, let's rewind and see how it all began. The story opens on a quiet luxury estate tucked deep in a forest in Chile. A man is relaxing there with a woman named Cindy, completely unaware that a hit squad is already in position around the property. A sniper named Fundo has him in his sights, while two more operatives, Heidi and Alexei, wait nearby. The moment Fundo fires, the others open up as well, and the man is killed in a hail of bullets. It turns out Cindy was part of the ambush the entire time. Her job was to keep him relaxed and exposed. As he dies, he asks why, and Heidi simply tells him he'd grown too old. A teammate named Carl arrives by helicopter to extract the team, and the squad heads back to their hideout, mission complete. The story then shifts to Seattle, where we meet a man named Duncan. He's at a doctor's office, and the exam reveals a body covered in old scars, including a rib held together with steel plates. The doctor tells him he's recovering well, but needs to quit smoking. Advice Duncan ignores the second he steps outside. He then visits his financial manager, who handles a substantial annual donation Duncan has quietly made to a charity for 9 years running. We also learn Duncan is just 2 weeks from retirement, at which point his employer, an organization called DEMAC, owes him a pension worth roughly $8.2 million. He also owns 4 properties scattered across the country. Soon after, a woman named Vivian calls to arrange a meeting. Duncan destroys his phone's SIM card immediately after the call, a habit that hints at just how careful he is. At the meeting, Vivian explains that 4 DEMAC agents have been killed recently, including the man from the opening scene. The very hits Cindy, Fundo, and the others carried out. The killer is a hitman named Petro, hired through ties to the Russian mafia, and Petro has now moved on to Belarus for his next job. Vivian tells Duncan their boss wants him to go finish Petro before he strikes again. Duncan refuses at first, insisting he's done with the job, but Vivian reminds him he isn't officially retired for another 14 days, meaning he's still obligated to take the assignment. Frustrated, Duncan retreats to an isolated, snow-covered property in Montana. On a supply run, he picks up a stray dog, and that night, while watching a movie with the dog curled up beside him, he drifts off and slips into a violent nightmare tied to his past. He wakes to find he's accidentally fired his gun in his sleep, killing the dog. The next morning, burying it, he notices a young girl next door struggling to chop firewood alone. Without a word, he quietly finishes the job for her while she's out. Vivian keeps trying to reach him, but he ignores her messages until that night, finally calling back and giving her exactly 30 seconds to talk. She offers him $2 million for the Belarus job, half up front, half on completion, but the clock runs out mid-sentence, and Duncan hangs up and destroys the SIM card again. We then see Vivian reporting to her boss, a man named Blut, who runs the entire DEMAC organization. It turns out the Hitman Agency has a brutal internal rule. Agents who reach 50 must retire, and retiring agents are owed a massive payout. Blut's real plan is to have Duncan killed in Belarus so the agency never has to pay him. Vivian is uneasy about this, knowing exactly how dangerous Duncan, codenamed Black Kaiser, really is. Duncan travels to Belarus without telling anyone at the agency and links up with a contact named Rosina. Together, they lure Petro out of his hotel room using a staged lockout, and when Petro steps into the hallway, Duncan overpowers him and eliminates his men. Searching Petro's room, Duncan finds a file with his own name in it, proof that whoever hired Petro to kill the agents also wanted Duncan dead. Petro, hired anonymously through the dark web, has no idea who's actually behind it. Duncan kills him anyway, then calls Vivian, demands his first million immediately, and once it lands, sends proof the job is done and asks for the second payment within 24 hours. Before leaving, he pays Rosina generously for her help. Vivian, panicking, goes straight to Blute and demands another million be prepared, warning him that failing to kill Duncan cleanly means living in fear of him permanently. Realizing Duncan can't be handled easily, Blute sends his best team, the same crew responsible for the opening assassination, to track him down. They start with Duncan's financial manager, torturing him for information about his properties and the charity before killing him. Meanwhile, back home, Duncan runs into his young neighbor again while out shopping. She seems anxious and isolated, and he starts warming up to her. As Blute's team raids Duncan's various properties one by one, they find nothing but tenants and squatters who know nothing about him, and kill every one of them to erase witnesses. Duncan, unaware of the manhunt closing in, spends time with his neighbor, learning her name is Camille. She's a photographer with a love for wildlife, and during one conversation Duncan opens up about his old cover job, collecting and repatriating the bodies of Americans who died abroad. Camille suggests he start a small school teaching local kids about the countries he's visited, and he genuinely takes to the idea, eventually opening one for the neighborhood children. Meanwhile, Blute's team finally gets a lead, the bank tied to Duncan's annual charity donation, located in a small Montana town. Around this time, Duncan is teaching Camille to shoot for her own safety, given the wildlife in the area, and during the lesson, she breaks down crying. She reveals that at 13, a man beat her and destroyed her life, and that if she ever found him, she'd kill him without hesitation. Later, while Duncan is out running errands, Blute's team spots him near the bank and sets a trap. Cindy fakes a car breakdown and gets Duncan to bring her back to his house. He's already suspicious, but plays along to confirm it. That night, as Cindy attempts to distract him, Fundo lines up a sniper shot from outside while Heidi and Alexei move in. Duncan, fully aware of the setup, kills Cindy first, then slips outside and takes out Fundo with his own sniper rifle. When Heidi and Alexei corner themselves inside his house, Duncan shoots out every light and switches to night vision, hunting them room by room. Carl arrives to finish the job, but is killed from behind a tree before he even sees Duncan coming. Heidi refuses to give up who sent them and is killed as well. Alexei escapes, but his girlfriend accidentally reveals the backup plan. If they couldn't kill Duncan, they'd kidnap Camille instead. Duncan rushes to her house, but she's already gone. Furious that the plan failed, Blute lashes out, and Vivian warns him that Duncan now almost certainly knows the truth. Duncan, meanwhile, tracks down an old informant who confirms the real reason Demac targets aging agents. The company saves millions by having childless agents killed before they can collect their retirement payout. Before Duncan can act on this information, an old contact poisons him for a payoff, leaving him paralyzed. Vivian has him taken to a warehouse, where Blute finally confronts him in person, furious over the chaos Duncan's survival has caused. Over the next few days, Blute tortures him relentlessly, cutting, shocking, burning, planning to finish him off on his 50th birthday, the day his retirement would have kicked in. During this time, Camille, who has also been captured, is drugged and interrogated in a separate room. On the third day, a broken knife blade gives Duncan the opening he needs. He frees himself, fights off Blute's guards one by one, and manages to escape despite being shot in the leg, eventually reaching a friend's home to recover. He calls Vivian and offers a trade, his own life for Camille's freedom. Once he's healed enough, he gathers heavy weaponry from a hidden stash with help from a friend and sets a trap of his own, deliberately staying on a call with Vivian long enough for her to track his location and walk straight into an ambush of automated guns. She and her escort are wiped out instantly, all broadcast live to a terrified Blute, whose remaining guards abandon him the moment they see Duncan approaching on camera. Left alone, Blute is confronted and killed by Duncan, who then frees the injured Camille and brings her home to recover. Days later, Duncan discovers something devastating in Camille's room, evidence that she had actually come there planning to kill him. It's revealed that Duncan's recurring nightmares stem from a mission 9 years earlier, when he wiped out an entire family on a job, sparing only one child. That child was Camille. She confronts him at gunpoint, demanding to know why he murdered her family, and Duncan admits he was given false information about the target. It's revealed that the charity donations he'd been making for years were secretly funding her education and upbringing, a quiet act of guilt he never told her about. Camille, torn between hatred and everything he sacrificed for her sins, can't bring herself to pull the trigger. Instead, she asks him to help her find whoever ordered her family's death in the first place. Duncan agrees to try, and the story ends there, clearly setting up a future chapter where the two of them hunt down the person responsible together. So here's a question for you. If you found out the person who destroyed your family had secretly spent years trying to make things right, would you still want revenge, or would you let it go? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next one. See you in the next story.